Hello, I'm Allison Seymour, and welcome to The Color of STEM. The Color of STEM was created to advance science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM, education, and inspire the next generation of scientists and engineers. Our series will also showcase the contributions of people of color in modern-day science and engineering, and how they continue to impact this global marketplace. We'll look at high school, middle, and elementary school programs and how they approach STEM education and why it's important to start early. But when we return, we'll meet this week's Color of STEM personality, Tyrone Taborn, the chairman and CEO of the Career Communications Group, founded in 1985. His partnerships with HBCUs have helped to establish his company's authenticity. We'll be back in a moment.
I believe as a society we get what we celebrate.
I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you to the Super Bowl of STEM.
That's one small step for man, giant leap for mankind.
If you want to change the world, become an engineer.
If you look at the biggest companies in America, almost all of them are science, technology, engineering, and math.
The only reason I got a chance to do this is because of a dream. It opened my eyes to a different world.
You cannot wake up through the morning and get through the day without specifically being impacted by science, technology, engineering, and math.
The hopes and dreams of America's college students are dying. The Thurgood Marshall College Fund supports the 47 public, historically black colleges and universities. 80% of all students attending an HBCU are doing so on public HBCU campuses. With your help, TMCF can continue to be the lifeline of nearly 300,000 diverse students. Visit our website today to make a donation to help these very deserving students. The Thurgood Marshall College Fund, where education pays off.
Welcome back to The Color of STEM. Dr. Taborn's firm also publishes a number of magazines: the U.S. Black Engineer and Information Technology magazine, the Women of Color Technology magazine, and the Hispanic Engineer and Information Technology magazine, the nation's oldest general interest technology magazine for the Hispanic community. Let's meet Dr. T.
In a digital age, you would think that magazines weren't important, or no longer important. But they're even more important, I have found. Our publications, U.S. Black Engineer Information Technology, Hispanic Engineer Information Technology, Women of Color, those magazines still resonate very strongly in the community, despite as much progress as we feel that we've made. The vast majority of the coverage of people of color is not positive. But what's important is that there's great opportunities in all walks of life. And so until mass media decides to tell everybody's story, we have a very, very special place in this society. You know, one of the things that we try to do here at Career Communications Group is really to bring awareness to the achievers in the field, where you wouldn't think we had a lot of leaders. Military is a really good point. We produce every year our Top Blacks in the Military issue. Now, you would think that we did not have top leaders there. We have tons of leaders who are senior level. And so that issue shows everyone, all of the leaders at one time. Now, here's another issue that I'm really excited about, and that is the Engineering Dean's book of U.S. Black Engineer. Again, you would not think we had as many engineers as we have, but here are the schools that are producing a lot of our talent, people in these particular areas. Well, no. What we're showing is that once that door is open, we've got plenty of folks willing to walk through. 20th year for women of color is really amazing for me, having seen all of these great women throughout the year. You know, we just launched a campaign, STEM is a Girl Thing. And it really is important to encourage our young women to look at careers in the STEM area, science, technology, engineering, and math. But let me say this. If you can't see it, you can't be it. And what do we mean by that? Look at the Vice Chief of Naval Operation, Michelle Howard, the first woman to become a 4-star admiral in the Navy. She's the second highest ranking person there. She's a woman of color. And she's also a woman of color and STEM award winner. When you come to the Women of Color Conference, the first thing you get is a support network. You're told you're not by yourself. I look at a lot of the professional attendees, for example. They're the only one in their field. You know, I mean, you can work for a big company like IBM and still be the only woman in a particular division doing that particular job. So the first thing you get is that I'm not alone and there's a network. Now, the next thing you get are some of the smartest people you ever want to meet, giving their time, doing seminars, telling you how to succeed professionally, what are the newest technologies involved. That's really exciting for a college student to sit in a seminar with a manager, a vice president, and to hear about the cutting edge technologies. That's pretty amazing for a college student. Now, let me tell you about the high school students. And let me tell you about the middle school students. Because these are the girls who are already being told they can't do it. And when they walk in there, they don't see one woman. They don't see two. They see thousands. And they know that they can do it. The Black Engineer of the Year Conference was actually created by the Dean of Morgan State University. Joining us was the Dean of Howard more than 30 years ago. It was created for one reason, to make sure that the students at the HBCUs at that time had a fair shot at opportunities in the nation's companies. We sat down and we put together an idea on the back of a kitchen napkin, basically. And it was that how would we expose these young people to successful role models who look like them in the fields of engineering? And that was the beginning of BEA. And the thought at the time was that we were also going to make sure that Morgan University had a strong program, because prior to the School of Engineering, the state didn't have a School of Engineering at an HBCU. They said there weren't enough black students in the state who would even want to go into engineering. Oh, they were so wrong. BEA then grew into what you see today. It's the Engineering Dean's Power Breakfast. It's the Stars and Stripes Military Recognition Award for African American top leaders. Obviously, it's the big event, the Black Engineer of the Year Awards. But in between that, we've got a whole lot of other cool stuff, like networking, events that take place. We have the BEA Student Awards, and I call that the Baby BEAs. But on Friday, it's so fun to watch all of these young engineers and scientists walk across the stage for the Modern Day Technology Awards. The engineering deans of the historically black colleges produce more than 30% of all of the African American engineers in the United States. So when I look at corporate America and I ask, why don't you have your share of that? I can tell you, if they're not investing in the HBCUs, they're not going to get a return. So the Engineering Dean's Breakfast brings together those forward-thinking companies that have pulled out their checkbook and said, I can find Ed Welburn, who is the top designer for General Motors, who graduated from Harvard University. I can find him from an HBCU. I can find other leaders in my companies. They're right now at HBCUs. The Engineering Dean's Breakfast facilitates that meaningful discussion between those companies that are absolutely committed to finding the best talent that they can out there. Yes, is at every step of your life. And Bayer is now that kind of program where no matter where you are in life, there's an opportunity that your success can be recognized.
We'll be back in a moment.
Florida Memorial University's mission is to train global citizens through lifelong learning opportunities.
Florida Memorial in itself is a gem. I think that we've come on through a path of struggle, and that's something that we pride ourselves on.
I think the motto that we live by, which is leadership, character, and service, is one thing that I'm going to take with me throughout my matriculation of the rest of my life.
One thing I'll never forget that I've learned here is to persevere and to be diligent about what I've set my mind out to do.
We are proud of our long tradition and look forward to a future filled with promise for our students, our staff, our faculty, and our alums.
I could have sent my children to any school around the country, but we chose Texas Southern because they were interested in educating these children.
Any field that you leave Texas Southern with a degree in that you decide to pursue, you're not there because it's sympathetic. You're there because you're one of the best.
I'm Michael Strahan, and I am Texas Southern University.
Welcome back to The Color of STEM. The Color of STEM continues.
4 decades ago, Doctors Lewis Brown, Hugh Gloucester, and Louis Sullivan dreamed of a minority-serving institution, a medical school that would educate and train primary care doctors who would serve their communities and underserved populations in Georgia and throughout the country. Their dream was realized when the School of Medicine at Morehouse College was established in 1975.
The idea of the Morehouse School of Medicine was really quite entrancing. Hugh Gloucester, the president of Morehouse College, thought this was indeed a brilliant idea because they said if there was any place in the country where another black medical school should be located, is in Atlanta. There was a shortage of black physicians. Louis Brown had been a member of a committee that pointed out that Georgia had 28% of its citizens who were African American, but only 2% of the doctors in Georgia at that time. So he urged the development of this school to address both those issues, the health of blacks as well as the shortage of black physicians.
From its humble beginnings as a 2-year medical college housed in temporary trailers, Morehouse School of Medicine is a top producer of African American physicians, researchers, and healthcare professionals.
This is an institution with a very specific purpose. People who come here are attracted to this institution because of that focus, and that purpose being to serve the underserved, to make sure that the least among us who are in the greatest need are the ones who get our greatest gifts in terms of the quality of health that we can deliver.
With a charter class of 24 promising students in a basic 2-year medical sciences program, Morehouse School of Medicine has grown to a 4-year, fully accredited program with over 300 diverse, academically focused MD, graduate, and public health students. 40 years later, MSM remains true to its original mission, not simply training students to treat the physical condition, but demanding that they bear a moral commitment to helping their communities, a critical philosophy in improving the health of all Americans.
This place puts in people the kinds of things they will need to be successful in life, be successful as a professional, and make a difference in their communities. What I reflect on is the people here, the values that they embrace, the commitment to a single purpose, and that is improving the lives of individuals and families in the communities, especially those in vulnerable areas of this country.
A relatively young institution, MSM's legacy of national leadership is unprecedented. Notable alumni and faculty include 2 United States Surgeon Generals, 1 Secretary of Health and Human Services, and 6 members of the Distinguished Institute of Medicine. MSM alumni continue to make meaningful contributions in primary care, medical education, government service, and HIV/AIDS research programs throughout the nation and in Africa.
Research at Morehouse School of Medicine is central to who we are. And our focus areas of research includes cancer, cardiovascular disorders, neuroscience, and HIV/AIDS and other infectious diseases.
Morehouse Healthcare is home to more than 200 physicians who are the cornerstone of Morehouse School of Medicine's firm commitment to compassionate patient care in the city of Atlanta. MSM physicians also provide professional services to 6 Atlanta facilities, including Grady Health System, the largest health system in the state of Georgia and one of the largest in the country. Morehouse School of Medicine's ascension as a key influencer and thought leader is evidenced by its many partnerships and alliances with internationally recognized powerhouse organizations and think tanks, including the CDC, the National Institutes of Health, and the Kennedy Forum.
I believe that partnerships are critical for sustainability. We have always tried to take that approach. We wrote the book on community-based partnerships for research. So I'm very pleased with the new partnership that we have with the Kennedy Forum, which established with the Morehouse School of Medicine, the Kennedy Center for Mental Health Research and Policy. It's a tremendous opportunity, which we are pursuing vigorously.
The 2 remarkable things that I would want Morehouse School of Medicine to accomplish over the next couple of years would really be expanding our resources. I'm talking about our people, increasing our class size as we are on a path to do. The second thing that I would like to see us accomplish would be what we've been doing over the last 40 years, working toward the elimination of health disparities. And now we're speaking of creating health equity.
Under the leadership of the Institute's first female president, Dr. Valerie Montgomery Rice, Morehouse School of Medicine is on a path of unprecedented and transformational growth with a bold vision, leading the creation and advancement of health equity, a natural evolution of the founders' original vision.
We are a young institution, but we are committed to the advancement and creation of health equity, and we recognize that it cannot be done overnight. We're ready to put in not just the next 40 years, but the next 100 years, because we know that if we achieve our goal and are able to realize this vision, Morehouse School of Medicine will be surrounded by communities, will be surrounded by individuals who have realized their optimal state of health. And that is what we are about here at this great institution.
My hope for the future, I think, is a shared hope. It's shared by our students, by our faculty and staff, by our board of trustees, and the leadership, starting with Dr. Valerie Montgomery Rice, and that is to make a difference. We're doing that now, but we want to do it in a big way. We're a small institution, but we've got big hearts, and we think that the work that we're doing can touch a nation.
We are on a mission. Morehouse School of Medicine has the capacity to be the leader in this space. And I would hope that 40 years from now, there will be no question that the recognition goes not to an individual, but because a vision was forged that was informed by multiple stakeholders, and that we all worked as a team to accomplish the goal.
I believe as a society we get what we celebrate.
I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you to the Super Bowl of STEM.
That's one small step for man, giant leap for mankind.
If you want to change the world, become an engineer.
If you look at the biggest companies in America, almost all of them are science, technology, engineering, and math.
The only reason I got a chance to do this is because of a dream. It opened my eyes to a different world.
You cannot wake up through the morning and get through the day without specifically being impacted by science, technology, engineering, and math.
The hopes and dreams of America's college students are dying. The Thurgood Marshall College Fund supports the 47 public, historically black colleges and universities. 80% of all students attending an HBCU are doing so on public HBCU campuses. With your help, TMCF can continue to be the lifeline of nearly 300,000 diverse students. Visit our website today to make a donation to help these very deserving students. The Thurgood Marshall College Fund, where education pays off.
In our corporate profile Making It Happen segment, we'll take a look at Lockheed Martin's partnerships with HBCUs as they provide career opportunities and investments in these historic institutions.
I have had the pleasure of working for Lockheed Martin for 21 years. I started with a company in systems engineering as an engineer on the shop floor, and worked my way through a variety of experiences with the company, and now I lead our diversity and inclusion initiatives across the entire corporation. So I sit at our corporate headquarters, and I have an opportunity to engage with many, many employees with Lockheed Martin and really think about what things we can do to really increase our diversity outreach, as well as increase our engagement with our community, which includes our HBCUs, it includes all of our STEM activity K through 12, and also includes some of our community organizations that help recognize and reward our employees. I'm very excited about the work that Lockheed Martin is doing with our HBCUs, as well as the work that we're doing with all of the MSIs, the minority serving institutions. It is extremely important that Lockheed Martin is investing in our youth, not just K through 12, but also when we think about what's happening at our higher education institutions. And so Lockheed Martin has made a strong commitment to 3 pillars in working with our HBCUs. The first one is branding, so ensuring that we are connecting with the deans of the universities, that we're working directly with the organizations, student-run organizations, to help them understand what Lockheed Martin, what we are, who we are, and what we do, and why their involvement with Lockheed Martin is extremely important. The second pillar is around engagement, and so we've developed executive sponsors for each of the HBCUs that we partner with. And so part of that role is to come out, evaluate what's happening at the HBCUs, participate, spend time with the deans, spend time with the students, really to see where our investment's going. And then the last of that is recruiting. It's extremely important that we're working with the universities to ensure that students, when they graduate, they have opportunities at companies like Lockheed Martin. And that's very important to us. And so with those three prongs of our strategy, we really believe that we're going to be able to partner effectively with the HBCUs. And then at the end of the day, we're going to be able to bring on talent that's going to shake the world. Yes, we had a great day today. Wish it could have been for a whole week, but we had a great opportunity to really engage with the president of the university, President Wilson. Had an opportunity to really talk about why our partnership is very important, not just to the university, but also to Lockheed Martin. And so we had an opportunity to really talk about, what's important when we think about the demographics of the country. Where are we going? What does this look like? And how can Lockheed Martin engage? And then we had a check ceremony where we made a nice contribution to the university, and really and truly that contribution goes to really supporting introducing women and girls to engineering, ensuring that freshmen and sophomore have scholarships to help them become part of this university, as well as ensuring that Lockheed Martin comes back and that our graduates that currently work at Lockheed Martin get an opportunity to come back to the university and really spend time with students. students. It's about mentoring. And then at the end of the day, it's also about technology. How do we ensure that we're helping the labs, that we're providing dollars so that the labs can be refurbished, that we can actually see the fruits of our labor. And so that was a great opportunity to really engage. And then lastly, we had an opportunity to really meet with some of the professors and really spend some time talking about, how can we partner together to ensure that we're developing the talent that we need for companies like Lockheed Martin and the talent that we need for this world. And so it's been extremely enlightening. We ended the day today with an opportunity to really talk with students that have benefited from Lockheed Martin's engagement, whether it be through the funding that we've provided, whether it's through the recruiting efforts, getting internships with Lockheed Martin, and really just getting an opportunity to hear from them directly. The thank you to companies like Lockheed Martin for their support. It was enlightening for me. I tell you, I want to hire them all. I wish I could make all of them offers right now, but it was a great opportunity to engage with the students. I understand the importance of not only developing the talent, but retaining talent. And I understand what it takes to be a successful engineer in a company. And all the decisions that you make today as a student in college impacts your success years and years down the line. And so to have an opportunity to work for a company that believes in that, and not just says that they believe in it, but actually provides either the funding or the resources in, engineers who come back to the university. It's just, it's extremely rewarding. It's something that I go home and talk to my children about, talk to my peers, my community about, because I want them to understand that Lockheed Martin believes in STEM talent, and we believe in giving back, and that's very important. Many days we see, football players, and we see the basketball players, and those are great roles too, but I want to see the scientists. I want to see those that, made a difference and created a patent, that our students can really see the possibility. And so it's exciting when you come back and you talk with students and you really kind of share, here's what an engineer can do for Lockheed Martin. Here's what you can do for Lockheed Martin. Very, very impactful.
We'll be back in a moment.
Florida Memorial University's mission is to train global citizens through lifelong learning opportunities.
Florida Memorial in itself is a gem. I think that we've come on through a path of struggle, and that's something that we pride ourselves on.
I think the motto that we live by, which is leadership, character, and service, is one thing that I'm going to take with me throughout my matriculation of the rest of my life.
One thing I'll never forget that I've learned here is to persevere and to be diligent about what I've set my mind out to do.
We are proud of our long tradition and look forward to a future filled with promise for our students, our staff, our faculty, and our alums.
The hopes and dreams of America's college students are dying. The Thurgood Marshall College Fund supports the 47 public, historically black colleges and universities. 80% of all students attending an HBCU are doing so on public HBCU campuses. With your help, TMCF can continue to be the lifeline of nearly 300,000 diverse students. Visit our website today to make a donation to help these very deserving students. The Thurgood Marshall College Fund, where education pays off.
More from our Color of STEM series.
If you look at STEM, and a lot of people I think tend to gravitate towards the science and the engineering because that's the more glamorous of them all. But when you really break it down, if you're doing physics, if you're doing anything, it's really hard to do it if your math skill set is low, even outside of STEM, just day-to-day life. But when you look at STEM, the idea is that what you want is for when kids are taught math well at an early age, they start to see patterns. They start to notice things so that when you're in a science class, when you're watching Petri dishes or anything, when you're recording your information, the information is speaking to you before you're even starting to really pick it apart because you've learned to look for patterns. You have that deep number sense that a lot of people take for granted. They look at kindergarten and think, it's kindergarten. You learn your numbers, you move on. But when you're 5 and 4, that's abstract. That's a crazy concept. And so a big part of STEM, me educating STEM teachers, especially math, is to get teachers to remember that this is a foreign language. The symbol of a 1, the amount of a 1, the word 1, those are 3 extremely different things that we as adults, we merge together very quickly. But what we have to do is get our teachers to slow down and really see that if we can take our time so that math is never overwhelming, because it doesn't have to be. If you think about it, if we really stop and we really build math from pre-K even, then what you have are these people who are designed to think deeper in any instance. There's even research out now that says in pre-K grades, if you really focus on math and having kids explaining what they're seeing and talking about what they're seeing, that their literacy skills rise up also. So we're trying to get our teachers to see that there is a very powerful value, even beyond STEM, to have really strong math education, even from the very early primary grades. The big thing with STEM is that it's the future, and we can't deny it. And I think the problem, especially in a lot of inner city communities, is that those are the things that you're being told that you're not great at. Oh, you're working too hard. You have to work so hard in math, and it's little reward. Where if we take the time to really sit down, math is almost a natural thing in elementary grades, especially at like grade 3. Age 3, not even grade 3. There's a natural propensity to want to sort and count and to manipulate things and to put them into different groupings. And so what happens is a lot of times that we take that away from kids. So a lot of it is that you'll see like homework being given or like a homework time. You'll go somewhere in those homework time and it's very quiet and everybody's just working. And I think what we need to realize is that this is the time where we need to be talking to our kids. Because you can do the homework, and that's fine, but can you explain to me the homework? Can you explain it and then be wrong? And then I know that what I want to do is talk to you about why it's okay to be wrong and why you're so close to being right. But if I don't talk to you about it, then all you ever know is that you were wrong. You don't know how close you were. So I think that big thing of, as we look towards inner city kids really embracing the STEM of the future, is that we have to be far more conversational, which requires more. It requires more from parents. It requires more from homework time than just 30 minutes, do it until it's done, everyone's answered, let's go. And it's scary for parents because you're going to look at math that you don't know. Everyone complains about this new math. It's the same math, it's just teaching it from the other end. It's teaching it so that kids know, why am I borrowing? Why am I crossing that number out and putting a little number up here? We were just told to do it. Where kids now are like, well, no, what I'm doing is I'm taking apart this other number so that I can put some of it over here and keep some of it. And now you have this whole concept where kids, even though we're only seeing the hard part of it in these elementary grades, when you start to move on to 8th and 9th grade, when you start to do algebra, that class that so many people dreaded, you're naturally an algebraic thinker. Now when you're decomposing things, when you're looking at different ways to create a number. So that's what we want. So it's scary in a sense for a parent who's like, look, I work a 9 to 5 and I come home and I love my kids and we do homework time and then please let us just read a book because I know how to read, where it's the time where parents have to say, hey, you're in 2nd grade and I don't know what you're doing. So can you teach mommy how to do that? Then I know what you're doing. And parents don't think like that's a great way to see if your kid knows what they're doing, that now they're justifying what they did. Well, are you sure that it works like that? Oh, yes, mom, because blah, blah, blah. Now, all of a sudden, those standards of mathematical practice that are hidden inside of the Common Core, those 8 things that really are what's changing the game for teaching and changing the game for how kids see math and learn math, now you're touching on them at home and you don't know them. Parents don't know what those 8 things are. You don't know that you're teaching your kid to persevere because they're teaching you how to. They're justifying their work. You might be like, well, hey, can we try this with paper clips? You're using tools. All you have to do is have a conversation. You don't have to know it. You don't have to understand the new way of deconstructing numbers or using number bonds, you know, number lines. There's tons of different things that we use. You don't have to know that. You just have to know that your kid knows it and make them teach it to you. And then you can be secure in knowing that they're on their way. Math is important for a million different reasons. Number one, you'll find math in every single day. In almost every single thing that you do, there's some component of math. And even if you want to write music, then there's patterns in all of music. If you want to do television production, if you're writing out a script, you have to time every single piece of your show. So that requires math. There's math in every sport. There's math everywhere. And even if you somehow sneak by and do something that doesn't require a ton of math, if you're great at it, then the goal is to make money. And if you make enough money, what you don't want to have to do is to entrust somebody who paid attention in math class with all of your money. You want to have a working knowledge of math so that you are always in control of your personal life, your assets, your everything. Because what we've learned is that in order to really be empowered, you have to have control over your life. So you can't say, well, now I'm a millionaire, I'm the next Jay-Z, I'm the next Steven Spielberg, but I don't know how to invest my money. I don't know how to take care of it. I don't know how to even to work my time to make sure that people aren't waiting on me or that I'm not late, because all of those little tiny things that we don't even think about that require math skills are those things that really talk about who our character is. So without math, you're late. You're skipping dates, you're missing things, you're not balancing checkbooks, then your credit score goes down. You can't hire a team to do anything if you can't even get a credit card. Like, that's how people are moving forward now. They're like, movies are made on credit cards. You know, so every little tiny piece, even though when you're young it doesn't seem important, all of these things add up to be really a part of your character and a part of your future.
That's it for The Color of STEM for today. We hope that you will consider a STEM career. Keep watching The Color of STEM, where we show you that STEM makes a difference, and so can you. See you next time, and think about STEM. I'm Allison Seymour.